the sunrise, and we welcome you to the Verizon pregame. Hi again, everyone. Bob Wischusen here with Ryan Boucher. AJ Malesko will join us from ice side in just a moment. And Bouch, these Florida Panthers started off the season unconscious, 10-0-1 in their first 11 games. Now 4 games without a win. What's gone wrong? What has to happen to get them back on track?
Well, they've hit a bump in the road. There's no doubt about that. You can't expect them to play great the whole year through. So they've hit a bit of a dry spell. But when you hit a dry spell, what do? You have to rely on some players that are predictable, guys that you know have been there before. Their captain, Alexander Barkov, what more can you say about this guy? He's been a mark of consistency since he's arrived. 9-game point streak for him, leads a team in points and goals. He has just been fantastic. You know what you're going to get out of Alexander Barkov when he puts on his skates every single night. They're going to need him here big time tonight to end the 4-game winless streak. The other guy, Patrick Hornquist, you know you're going to get this out of him, energy. And they're going to need energy tonight. When you think back to the game against Tampa Bay on Saturday, they were a little bit flat. So what did Hornquist do? He dropped the gloves with Braden Point, try to spark his team, drag his team into the fight. Like I say, they're going to need that energy tonight. When you play against the New York Islanders, they have that identity line, the forward line for the Islanders. Let's see if Hornquist can bring that here tonight for the Panthers.
Well, that identity line for the New York Islanders tonight is about the only line that's still together, as AJ Malesko is ice side. And AJ, this is a tough way to finish the road trip for the Islanders, and we've got injury news to report for them as well.
We do. We just found out right before warm-up that Ryan Pulock is out with a lower body injury, and that also Josh Bailey is on the COVID protocol. So there are going to be some line shuffling out there. Casey Cizikas is back. He was out before. But their biggest problem right now is creating offense. They're on a 3-game skid. In that 3 games, they've been outscored 13-3. Barry Trotz knows, here's his captain, Anders Lee, that he has 3 goals in the last 4 games. Barry Trotz has to rely on him, and he knows they're not going to win these games 6-5, but they're also giving up 4 or more goals in the last 3 games. You got Matt Barzal. He's got 8 points in 12 games. He certainly can wow us, and he's got incredible dazzling skill. These 2 guys, they have to step up, and some of it is going to be on the power play too. They're 0-for-11 in the last few games, so look to these guys to maybe ignite some offense for the New York Islanders.
Very impressive, by the way. AJ brings her own special effects on the road. That was impressive. What has also been impressive, the start to the season for the Florida Panthers. They take on the New York Islanders. Hockey Night, ESPN Plus, in a moment.
Dan Paca.
We are streaming live on ESPN Plus. Big schedule of games this evening. 11 games in all. 22 of the 32 teams in action. Coming up next here, of course, the New York Islanders and the Florida Panthers. See the Pittsburgh Penguins, some possible sale of the team news going down in Western PA today. See what happens there and Mario's future in Western Pennsylvania. Some late games as well. Of course, you can see the ESPN Plus logo means the game is on. ESPN Plus. And when it's all said and done, they'll be in the crease later tonight with Ryan Callahan and myself. Torts is going home, so there's a room open to the DoubleTree if you want to party. Let's talk about our Islanders. Final game of a 13-game road trip, Callie. This has been a long grind for this team. It finally ends tonight against the Panthers.
It has, and I'm sure every player in that room is thankful that this is coming to an end and they finally get back home to play. But what concerns me about the Islanders, yeah, they're coming out of this trip maybe a little bit above 500 if they win tonight, but you know, they've dug themselves a little bit of a hole in that division. A lot of surprise teams in that division. Every team is above 500 right now. And if you look at teams like the New Jersey Devils, who have been playing very well, Philly's been playing well. I still think Pittsburgh's going to have a resurgence once they start getting healthy. So this Islander team has a lot of teams they have to climb to get up in that standings. And that's where I had them at the beginning of the year, was in those top 2, really, Carolina and them. So I'm worried about them a little bit.
Yeah, and Callie and I were talking before we started here. I'm worried tonight, are they thinking about going home already after such a long trip? Now, they've been home back and forth, but I worry about this game for them, especially if it's a first period that they struggle in. I worry about it. I've gone into locker rooms, we were talking about it, and you go in as a coach and you say, listen, don't look by this game. I know we're going home. We're starting our new building, and there's some nights you do that, and you walk out of there as a coach, and you look at the other assistant coach and say, you know what? They didn't hear a word I just said. They just want to go home. And it is a struggle for a coach, I'll tell you right now.
Panthers haven't lost at home. We got 10 seconds. They flip Huberdeau and Verhaeghe. What do you think?
That's good. They're trying to load up their top line, similar to Draisaitl, McDavid. A little bit of a different look. They're good at home right now, 7-0.
Yeah. All right, we're here all night. We'll see you in between periods. Let's head to South Florida. Bob Wischusen has the call.
Bucci, thanks very much. We are just about set to drop the puck here between the Islanders and the Florida Panthers on NHL Plus Hockey Night here on ESPN Plus. Brian Boucher, let's take a look at the goaltenders. Last night, it was Semyon Varlamov between the pipes for the Islanders. Tonight, they go back to Ilya Sorokin.
Yeah, what a year this young man is. I shouldn't say young man. He's 26 years old. It's in his second NHL season. 3 shutouts so far on the season. And the thing about the work that he's put in, it's been all on the road. At the other end of the ice, 33-year-old veteran Sergei Bobrovsky. The struggles of last year seem to be behind him. Has not lost in regulation just yet, and his save percentage is tied for first in the National Hockey League. Should be a good matchup of 2 Russian goaltenders here tonight.
For the record, 26 sounds young to me. I don't know about you.
Right, I know. The league is so young now. I figure he's past that hump where he's a young guy. He's played several years pro in Russia, so he's a well-seasoned goaltender. Certainly does not seem fazed by the NHL game whatsoever.
And again, AJ Malesko is with us ringside. And AJ, if you're an Islanders fan tonight, you click on the game, you'll see Martin Cizikas and Clutterbuck back together. Other than that, be a lot of different combinations out there.
A lot of different combinations, but as expected, Barry Trotz goes with that identity line to start off, set the tone for this team in this last game of this long road trip.
And there is Cizikas back in the lineup, offside, barely at the Panthers line, as it looked like he had Matt Martin open and cutting to the net. Well, Andrew Burnett, the interim head coach for the Florida Panthers, as of course Joel Quenneville stepping aside with relation to the terrible tragedy that took place and uncovered with the Chicago Blackhawks organization, and he is now taking over a team that has very realistic Stanley Cup final hopes.
Yeah, they do, and they've hit a little bit of a bump in the road, and Burnett knows they have to play with a little more urgency in their game, particularly on the power play. They've got better in their game. They've proved it so far this year, but I think they're happy to be back on home ice after a difficult road trip.
Kenzie Weegar hands one off to Anthony Duclair, who brings it across the line for the Panthers. Gets to the goal line and is met. Now Bennett side of the net, tries to wrap one in front. Hoping for Verhaeghe. That was blocked behind the net. Now it's Mayfield for the Islanders. Pocket picked by Verhaeghe. He's pinned up against the wall by Green. And Oliver Wahlstrom chips it, not out. Between the circles, Duclair finds a loose puck. Puts the brakes on. Sets up Gustav Forsling. Straight away a drive. That hits the right pad of Sorokin. And is sent to the side as now it's back at the Panthers line. Gathered in by Gustav Forsling. And here come the Panthers on the attack once again.
Trying to keep up with these line changes for the Islanders.
Forsling flips it around the shelf to Duclair in the right wing corner, but he is at the end of his shift, out of gas. And this will head the length of the ice and will be paddled away by Bobrovsky. Duclair still out there, lost the puck predictably to Adam Pelech. Behind the net, Palmieri looked to center. Now Matt Barzal chips it back to Pelech at the point. Right point now, Noah Dobson. Wrist shot gets the high glass behind Bobrovsky. There is Barzal to cycle with Zach Parise. Barzal with a wrist shot. Chest save made by Bobrovsky. Palmieri quickly to the puck.
Good work there by Barzal in a tight area to get that opportunity.
And Dobson's rink-wide pass deflected up and out of play as Bush. That was really good pressure from, I guess, arguably the top line tonight for the Islanders.
Yeah, and AJ talked about Matt Barzal in the open and how important he is to this hockey club. I think shooting the puck a little bit more is important for Barzal. We know that he can attract defenders, and he's looking to dish the puck oftentimes, but boy, you shoot pucks like that in scoring areas, you can set yourself up and your teammates as the game goes on for even more quality chances. Good opportunity for Barzal early on in this game.
Keep an eye on Barzal getting inside the dots like we just saw there to get that shot off. A lot of times he's outside and he stays in the perimeter. Much better for the Islanders when he penetrates.
Brandon Montour, rink-wide pass. Mustarainen across the line, but he lost the puck. And it's taken back by Aho. Plays catch with the seemingly ageless Zdeno Chara, 44 years old. And Zdeno Chara back where he began, with the Islanders.
Yeah, Chara, who started his career with the New York Islanders, and now it's come full circle. A guy who takes tremendous care of himself, and it'll look at games played by defensemen in NHL history, and he is climbing the ranks, and he's chasing down our very own Chris Chelios. Amazing how long Chara has played, and he plays a physical brand as well. It's not something that he's doing on the perimeter. I mean, he's a willing combatant just about every single night.
Well, 2 fights last night in Tampa Bay, too.
One about 2 seconds in. It was clearly predetermined as that Vetrano shot sails into the glove of Ilya Sorokin. Didn't take long for Zdeno Chara to drop the gloves last night for Barry Trotz.
Yeah, it was something last night. I think Chara was trying to get his team sparked up. I think that's what it was. Maroon's fought him before in his career, and I think Chara was trying to get his team fired up, and you got to respect Maroon for answering the call that Chara was asking for. Unfortunately for the Islanders, it didn't play out the way Chara probably would have hoped, and that's why this game here tonight is an important game. And I agree with Torts in studio saying that, you know, the fear is, are you looking past this one and thinking about getting home? This is an important game for the New York Islanders here tonight.
They got off to a quick start last night, scoring the first goal against the Tampa Bay Lightning, but immediately gave one up and ended up going down 4-1. In a game that was closer than the final score appeared, Islanders put on a lot of pressure in the third period, down only 1, but the defending champions pulled it out. Long wrist shot in on Bobrovsky, gathered on the wrister by Adam Pelech. He will hold on once again.
Yeah, you mentioned about last night's game in Tampa Bay. They were in it, right? And Barry Trotz talked about it, but the details of the game as the game wore on, particularly in the third period, he was not happy with. And he thought that there were some mistakes made that typically don't happen with his hockey club, and I think that's something that he's trying to rectify right now as they end this road trip and they head home, because that's something that we just think about instinctually, right, with Barry Trotz, is that their teams are detailed and that they don't make the kind of mistakes that they made last night, the flybys, not protecting the front of the net, stuff like that. Let's see if they're better here tonight in that regard.
Well, great, another turnover here as Beauvillier into the corner along with Gudis. Back to the point. Dobson throws one towards the net. That's blocked before it gets through. There's keeper Bellows. He almost found a loose puck between the circles. His shot was blocked. And now Verhaeghe with some open ice down the left wing. Chips one looking for Forsling. Right back to Verhaeghe. He'll hold at the right point. And his wrist shot blocked up over the netting and out of play, with just about 4 minutes gone by in a scoreless first period.
Well, for the Islanders, a veteran-laden team, they need a desperate surge of youth in their lineup. Kiefer Bellows, one of those guys, was able to get back in the lineup last night. He's in a prime scoring area, a good chance to get that puck to the net. It's a good block by Radko Gudis, but Kiefer Bellows, a guy that's a former first-round pick, he's trying to find a way to get in this lineup and stay in this lineup. He's got a terrific opportunity here tonight, had a good chance. Let's see what kind of game he can have playing on back-to-back nights.
Another face-off win by the Panthers. They have won 4 and now 5 consecutive face-offs coming into tonight. 31st in the National Hockey League at just 45%.
Penalty.
That's a good sign early, but now a penalty will be coming against the Panthers as Sorokin heads to the bench.
Be interesting for the Islanders right now. See what they can do. Special teams have been a struggle.
Matt Barzal will circle and wait for some help. Mayfield slides one to Cizikas, and now it's touched up by Reinhart, and it will be a power play for the Islanders.
Got a slashing call on Carter Verhaeghe heading over to the bench, and he is not happy about it, although show me a player that is happy about a penalty call against him. Slash on the hands. These are going every time. Here he is, number 23. Right,
23, 2 minutes.
Right in the middle of your screen here. And you know, now you look at the Islanders. This is their, I mentioned the open, they're 0 for 11 on their last couple games in the power play. That's been something they've been trying to fix. They've got Dobson back in the lineup. He wasn't there last night. See what they can do here. They got to be creative.
He's got it at the right point and now gets it straight away. Playing catch. That long drive misses the net, and the Islanders clear the puck with an errant shot as Dobson has to retreat behind the cage of Sorokin.
I mentioned they'd be creative, but some of it too is simplicity, right? And you just saw it, quick movement, some urgency. Don't slow the play down. Move quick, move quicker than the penalty killers.
It's cleared once again as Nelson and Lee could not find the puck deep in Panther ice. So once again, Dobson forced to retreat. the number 29 power play in the NHL so far this season. But of course, all of their games played so far for the Islanders on the road.
Well, some of it right there, a missed pass. That entry has to be cleaner.
J.G. Pageau has it along the half boards. Out to Aho at the point. Fanned on shot by Wahlstrom. Back to Aho straight away. Right wing faceoff. Nelson looking for a cutting Lee in front. That was blocked beneath the goal line and behind the net now. And Ekblad able to shoot it all the way down.
Well, you can see right there, AJ, what AJ's talking about, right? The entry not on the tape, then the one-timer by Wahlstrom. He fans Nelson with an opportunity that gets blocked. The crispness is not there just yet. And look, it's an early power play in the game. Sometimes that's difficult as well, but that's something where you want to generate chances and generate momentum, even if you don't score on the power play. First unit out right now. Let's see what they can do.
Well, Barzal winds one on the backhand. Back to Beauvillier. He looks diagonal to Barzal. Worked over by Lombard, but keeps it onside. Beauvillier tried to send one in front, blocked by Forsling. Wrapped around the wall. Half boards on the left wing side. It's Palmieri. Top of the circle. Along the goal line now. Behind the net operating is Barzal. Back to Palmieri. Straight away Aho. Fake the one-timer. There's a wrist shot. Oh, that caught some iron. The Islanders worked the puck and Palmieri hit the post. And now Lombard with the team's back at 5 aside. Stepping out of the box is Verhaeghe. He's got it. Shoots it on net. And Sorokin makes the save.
A couple of good chances at both ends. Palmieri hitting the post, and then that chance as the power play expired for the Florida Panthers. An important save for Sorokin.
Across the line, Barkov hands one off to Duclair. Out in front, shot, score! Jonathan Huberdeau. Beautifully done. Barkov to Duclair to Huberdeau to give the Panthers the early lead.
Well, an important kill for the Florida Panthers early on in this game. Several good sticks, good blocks by the penalty killers of the Florida Panthers. And then they get to work, and Duclair, who's had a fantastic year, terrific wheels, is able to get this puck to Jonathan Huberdeau, who's able to get open on the backside. As you see, Duclair gets a step on Pelech. Sorokin tries to get across, but the elevated shot by Huberdeau is what allows that puck to go in. Big kill and a good answer by the Panthers.
Yeah, you know, I think the kill is what gave them the momentum, gave them the energy. They haven't had that much success on the penalty kill. They have some confidence going against a struggling power play. Interesting for the Islanders, though. They've got that line that goes out a lot of times after power plays. They were there, they just weren't picking up sticks.
So Huberdeau's fifth from Barkov and Duclair gives the Panthers an early 1-0 lead. Bennett across the line. His centering attempt blocked by Mayfield. Gets a return. Tries to cycle behind the net. Hoping for Reinhart. Taken back by the Islanders. And Cal Clutterbuck. Right wing pass to Cizikas. He'll lean in. Cizikas to the front of the net. And that is stopped by Bobrovsky. With Martin lurking on the doorstep of the blue paint. 12:25 to go in the opening period. Jonathan Huberdeau lights the lamp. And the Panthers have a 1-0 lead.
Huberdeau with his 5th of the season. After the penalty kill, the Panthers able to get their top line out on the ice, and Montour with the exit pass. Good feed by Barkov to Duclair, and you can see the speed that the Panthers want to play with. Andrew Burnett talked about that this morning. You play fast. You don't allow the structure of the Islanders to get set up in the neutral zone. Good job by Montour to get that puck through the neutral zone. Barkov kicks it out, and Huberdeau is able to put it home after a beautiful feed by Duclair.
Gustav Forsling off the defensive zone draw to Vetrano. Loose in front of the penalty box doors. The Islanders, again, this is the end of a 13-game road trip to begin the season. They will finally, on Saturday night against the Calgary Flames, get home and open up brand new UBS Arena. Have you seen the pictures, by the way? It looks like it is just going to be a spectacular place to watch hockey as Tippett's shot is turned aside. There's another save by Sorokin off the Gudas drive out in front. Vetrano controls. Right pad save by Sorokin as he kicks away that wrister. Forsling fires into traffic. Another save by Sorokin. More pressure put on by the Panthers. Gudas tees one up and gets the high glass behind the Islanders' cage. Finally, Wahlstrom able to get it out of harm's way.
All this came about. Wahlstrom wasn't able to get the puck in deep about 35 seconds ago, and all those chances for the Panthers were a direct result of that puck not getting in. And for Oliver Wahlstrom, I think that's something that he's going to have to work on if he's going to want to get more ice time with Barry Trotz.
A war in the corner. It's taken by Barkov. And he is able to backhand one rink wide to Forsling, who'll send it around the wall. Pops to Barkov, rather Duclair out in front. Huberdeau chips it just wide. Off the feed from Duclair. The top line almost with another goal for Florida. Ekblad fires one into the chest protector of Sorokin, and he will hold on.
The NHL's newest franchise.
The Kraken on the board. Score! Right place, right time. Release the Kraken!
The Panthers in the last minute of play with 5 shots on net and a couple that missed as well. So 7 scoring opportunities. And this is feathered to center, and keeper Bellows moves it across the Panthers line, turned right back. Anton Lundell, or rather Barkov, across the line. Gives it up to Duclair. He is dumped by Bellows, but Huberdeau has it. Straight away, Weegar. Mackenzie Weegar. Rink wide right back to Huberdeau. Nice job to force it out, though, by Scott Mayfield. And now those two will square off out near the red line as Mayfield and Huberdeau look like they might go. Play continues as Beauvillier has it across the line for the Islanders. Flips it behind, hoping for Bellows. Beaten to the puck by Ekblad, and he'll send it the length of the ice. And this will be an icing call late.
That was close.
Oh, man.
Like there was a chance Lomborg's hustle might negate it.
That looked like Lomborg should have won that argument.
Yeah, from up here, I mean, maybe the worst you could say is it's a tie.
And tie goes to the defender. I think the hard part is it's at the dots. The linesman has to make the call, right? Who's going to get to the puck first? And the fact, you know what, Dobson was there. That's in some look on the replay. It's a good call because the puck, the way it sat behind the net, Lomborg couldn't get there.
So the faceoff comes all the way back into the Panthers end to the left of Bobrovsky. And off the draw, loose in the corner, Weegar being worked over by Palmieri and Parise. Zach Parise behind the net, chipped away by Hornquist, and he takes his own chip to the wall and outlets to Losterainen, but he lost it. Back the other way comes Barzal. Drop pass was deflected by Mackenzie Weegar. Barzal winds it behind the net, but Weegar the only player there. And he was looking for a stretch pass to a cutting Lombard through center. Lombard weaves his way across the line. Lost it to Matt Barzal. Barzal back the other way. Puts the brakes on along the half boards. Finds a cutter. There is a shot. And that is blocked in front. Now setting up shop in front, Matt Martin. He looks for a deflection on that drive. Loose. Palmieri chipped it to the corner, and Hornquist settles for an icing with the Islanders putting some pressure on.
Yeah, good work here by the Islanders. Matt Barzal is able to kind of facilitate the offense here, and we talk about his ability to handle pucks and make plays. Eventually the Islanders get this puck through. The initial chance by the Islanders off the feed by Barzal was blocked, and that's something that's been happening a lot in this game so far. The Panthers have been blocking shots. Dobson able to get that one through, and I kind of like that mentality. A lot of white sweaters by that blue paint.
When Matt Barzal is used to playing with Anders Lee, who's so good in front of the net, but there he had Palmieri and Matt Martin doing a pretty good job mucking it up.
Villiers tried to backhand one to the point to Zdeno Chara, and Chara not there to reach it. That's a tough reach to miss as he has to go all the way down the ice to gather. And now the Islanders back on the attack. Bellows in on the forecheck. Verhaeghe muscled off the puck by Beauvillier. And Beauvillier able to win that battle, then wrap it around. Bellows now in the right wing corner. Upends Connaughton, but the Panthers able to work it out. Verhaeghe wraps it to the right wing half boards to Montour. The defenseman pinching in, gets it behind the net. Verhaeghe now has it left wing faceoff dot. There's one for Reinhart, back to the point. Connaughton sends it right wing side for Montour. Couldn't handle the pass though, took himself offside. And now it's back in neutral ice. Islanders counter. Martin moving in on the backhand, chips it towards Bobrovsky, and he gloves it and holds on. The goal by Jonathan Huberdeau, giving the Panthers the 1-0 lead. (1,894 miles, 13 games away from home to start the season for the Islanders.
I don't know about you guys, but I would be thrilled about the air miles that I racked up on this road trip. I don't know, AJ, I don't know. I mean, you get a pretty nice trip after the season's over.
They go on the charter, though. They don't get miles. They don't get miles for this. Come on, Boosh.
But I would love it.
Yeah, you know, and there's a little bit of a silver lining for some of these guys. You've got Zach Parise who comes in here, Zdeno Chara, right? They're new to the team. They can come in and they can bond, and there's value to that. But as you mentioned earlier, talked to Barry Trotz about some of the mistakes. They're mental mistakes. They're tired. It's exhausting to be on the road.
Here's a shot from the left point by Andy Green, steered aside. And now Gustav Forsling outlets Anton Lundell, and he gets it deep. I don't know about you guys, but to me, they've already done a good job on this trip, right? 5-5-2. Even if they were to lose tonight, they've come back one game below 500 after a 13-game road trip, especially finishing it up with these two opponents back-to-back. That's not bad.
No, it's not bad. And I also think at the beginning, if they had said we're going to end the road trip 500, people would have been happy. The team would have been happy. That they're never happy to lose, but it's not a bad thing to come back out of that.
Lee looked to center, Vetrano the other way.
But it's funny, this morning in talking to Barry Trotz, I mean, there was a level of urgency in his voice, and I don't want to say concern, but you could tell that he's not happy enough of where they're at right now in their game. The record notwithstanding, I mean, look, if they win this game, I'm sure there's happier vibes heading home, but there's a level of concern in their play, and they've had some changes to their lineup compared to last year. They're still working out some kinks. I don't think it's fair to rate them on what we've seen so far, seeing that they've been on the road this much. Let's talk about this about 7-8 games from now when they get some home games under their belt, and whether or not some of those things that are concerning Trotz are still there.
Well, the one thing I'll say about Barry Trotz through the years is he isn't concerned about the record in November, right? He's concerned about the way that they're playing. They want to play the right way, and that's what we heard this morning. I agree with you. And even talking to Burnett, he said there's going to be some desperation in the Islanders' play tonight.
Duclair moves in, sets up Barkov with a quick trigger, and Sorokin was able to make the pad save. Barzal the other way using speed, gets to it deep in the right wing corner. Gets chopped at by Barkov and ends up out in the neutral zone. Recovered by Aho. Rink wide Chara, and he'll ladle one in. Bobrovsky hands it off to Gudas. Gudas with a bank pass to center ice. Mr. Rainen sets up Lomborg down the wing. Lomborg, hard angle. Low backhander hit the outside of the net.
Sorokin had no idea where that puck was.
Back to the point. Connaughton through traffic. I'm not sure he knew where that one was either. And it deflected wide. Connaughton has it again.
Boosh, goalies always know, right?
No, I had no clue my whole career. That's why I'm doing this.
Chara pokes at it. Gathered and thrown towards the net by Montour. The rebound, score! The hard work for Ryan Lomberg on that shift pays off as he roots one over the shoulder of Sorokin. And that gives Florida the 2-0 lead.
Well, the speed of Lomberg initially is what allowed Florida to carry this puck into the zone, and it was an extended shift for the top line for the New York Islanders in their own zone. Sorokin tried valiantly to try and keep this puck out of the net. On this initial tip, he makes a save. The rebound, unfortunately, goes right out to Lomberg, and boy, that is a terrifically placed shot by Lomberg. Maybe a guy that you don't expect to put it there, but he put it right upstairs where Sorokin couldn't catch up to it.
You know, you look at the way Florida plays, they're very creative, they're very dynamic offensively. Some of the rub is maybe they can clean up defense, but you look at the way that they play, their urgency, when they get to their offensive side of the red line, their urgency picks way up.
Lomberg's first of the season gives the Panthers the 2-0 lead. And ESPN Plus Hockey Night is presented by New Amsterdam Vodka, the official vodka of the NHL. Drink responsibly.
Studio, the Toronto Maple Leafs hosting the Nashville Predators. Toronto on the power play. Austin Matthews cashing in, beating Soros. 7th goal this season for Matthews. Nylander and Riley with the assists. 1-0 leads, Bob.
And Linda, it is 2-0 Florida here. A little over 5 minutes left in the opening period. Off the draw. A shot by Green, stolen. And taken the other way by Carter Verhaeghe. Puts the brakes on along the half boards. Bennett digging for it there as well. Kiefer Bellows moves it behind the Islanders' net. And allows some open ice for Noah Dobson. Hit the linesman as he sent it back out to center. And now it looks as if we will have a stoppage. And the linesmen have to jump in between Ekblad and Beauvillier.
Well, the Florida Panthers are up 2-0 in this game, and they've done a good job of blocking attempts so far in this game. It just happened off the faceoff just recently. This was a block earlier by Gudas on a prime scoring chance. 8 blocks so far for the Florida Panthers in this first period. That can be frustrating when you're trying to find your offense. And the Panthers have done a terrific job, not only at the offensive side of things, but defending the front of their net. And this block was the latest one by Verhaeghe off the face-off win by Brock Nelson. So for the New York Islanders, they're going to have to find a way. Get pucks to the net, get bodies to the net, and try and chip away at this deficit.
And maybe win some more face-offs, because the face-off percentage has been mostly owned by the Panthers here in the first period. They won another one there.
Out of the ordinary. Florida has not been good at the dot, and Casey Cizikas just lost that one. He's typically pretty good.
45%, AJ, coming into tonight. Second to last in the National Hockey League for the Panthers as a team in the dot. Van Auken behind his own net, beaten to the puck by Clutterbuck. Martin works the end boards as well. Now pinching in is Mayfield. Montour reverses. Van Auken takes it behind his own net, sends it up the wall. There's Mayfield. Put it out between the circles, but an odd man rush possibly the other way as Verhaeghe moves in. Leans in, sets up. Montour, what a save! Out in front, score on the rebound after Sorokin got the first. Verhaeghe follows up, and it's 3-0 Florida.
Well, Carter Verhaeghe showing some speed through the neutral zone. Great transition game. Watch the way he cuts through, and then he just lifts up Casey Cizikas' stick. I'm not sure Cizikas knew he was there. What a save by Sorokin. Sorokin loses a track of the rebound and doesn't get any help from his players coming back. You can see the players are back. They're not able to corral that rebound.
Well, and a couple of things there, AJ, stand out to me. Mayfield trying to be aggressive in the offensive zone, keeping plays alive. Bad bounce, and then at the other end of the ice, as you mentioned, not protecting the front of the net like we saw in Tampa Bay last night. Some of the Islander players end up behind the net. Those are the details that hurt you, and so far that's been the case in this game here tonight. A 3-0 lead for the Panthers, and some mistakes made in this first period by the Islanders.
Well, and Barry Trotz, some frustration on the bench, because this is what he's talked about. What he talked to us about this morning is just bodies are there, but they're not doing their jobs. They're sort of floating in the D zone.
Anders Lee floats one on net, gloved down by Bobrovsky.
We'll go back to the goal scored before that. And for the Islanders here, Mayfield, he's trying to be aggressive. I think it's the right play. He's got Cizikas in place to protect him, and that's why he's jumping down to protect the puck. But Verhaeghe was on his toes, was able to pickpocket Cizikas, and look where Cizikas is. I mean, he's behind the goal line, not able to help out in front. And Cizikas, who did not play last night in Tampa Bay, was under the weather. You wonder if he's at 100%, but for a guy like Mayfield, he's trying to be aggressive. He's trying to keep plays alive to generate some offense. A bad bounce. Thought he had numbers in place, not the case. And the Panthers are able to get their third goal this first period.
You look at Verhaeghe, though, who's sneaking behind Cizikas. I'm not sure he knew he was there, and that's just an awareness. He's not a defenseman. He's covering. You gotta have the swivel.
Palmieri gets 1-2 Barzal across the Florida line. Barzal walled off by Gudas, who moves the puck.
So you talk about the D being aggressive, Boosh, and these D are all new pairings. It's a little bit odd for them.
Let's do a quick check-in with Linda.
Okay.
Thank you, Bob. Rangers hosting Montreal at the Garden. Kako, his second goal this season. He scored in back-to-back games, giving the Rangers a 1-0 lead. Panarin and Strome with the assists. Back to you, Bob.
If Kako finds a scoring touch and becomes a goal scorer, Does that make the Rangers a different team?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think the Ranger fans have been clamoring for some of their young guys to get producing. Kakko now a couple of goals in his last couple of games. That's a positive sign. Big power forward, right? I mean, he's a guy that those guys, it takes a little bit longer. Good to see that he's getting some success right now.
A giveaway by Beauvillier to Duclair. Here is Barkov. Gets to the goal line. Behind the net to Duclair. Chips it out in front. Ends up back with Forsling. Fakes the shot off the heel of the stick of Barkov. And that allows the Islanders to get the puck out of harm's way.
Heads up play there by Huberdeau, letting that pass by him to go out to Gudas.
This line has looked good. Burnett putting Huberdeau with Barkov and Duclair. They have had a real sharp first period. Several chances, obviously factoring in on the first goal scored, the Huberdeau goal. So far it's paying off for Burnett.
Inside of 2 minutes to go in an opening period that has been dominated by the Panthers. And a turnover by the Islanders. Hornquist roofs it and scores from a near impossible angle. Patrick Hornquist goes upstairs, and the Panthers add to their lead.
Smart play by Hornquist. I mean, we see this so often now in the National Hockey League. It's almost hard to call it a bad goal. The players know the goaltenders are going down with that pad to seal the short side of the ice. Here, Barzal thinking he's going to chip it to his D-man. A little miscommunication, a shot from the sharp angle, and Hornquist has nothing to shoot at. So what do? Put it by the ears of the goaltender. And Sorokin is down. It goes off of the mask and in. Not much room, but these guys have clued in. The goaltenders want to play down on their knees on those short side shots and put it by their ear and hope for the best.
Short side shot. Say that 10 times. Coach.
I know. Short.
That was literally off of the ear of Sorokin as he hit the outside of the mask and got the bounce into the net. And what a first period for the Panthers. They now have 20 first period goals this season. #1 in the NHL. Well, a step down the wing. Maybe some offense for the Islanders as Clutterbuck gets it behind the net, chips it to the half boards, and goes after his own cycle. Now it's Zizekas trying to wall off Connaughton. Back to the point to Chara, and he was not able to keep it onside. Oh, I guess he was. No, now delayed offside is called. I thought he lost it across the line. And eventually the linesman realizing that Lee was still deep, blow the whistle.
And Bush, you talked about Hornquist during the open and the grittiness and what he does, but how about this finish? I mean, look up, his stick's inside, a right shot coming on his offside, but he's got about 2 inches of daylight right there. And it's, it's fascinating. You and I have talked before about the RVH, reverse V, whatever it is with these goalies and all the coaching that they do. Sorokin arguably played that exactly the way that they're being coached. There's so little daylight, Hornquist hit it.
It's true, AJ. I mean, you think about when guys go out and do drills with goaltenders at goalie practice, and the goaltenders are practicing that. Well, the shooters are taking notes as well on where they can score in those situations, and we've seen it a lot. I mean, put it by the ears, and you can get that bank shot to go in.
And sometimes you just got to tip your cap. Good shot. I mean, there's not much else you could say about that.
I agree.
One.
I think you're past the point of calling it a bad goal because Sorokin is playing the percentages and he's doing what he wants to do. It's almost like in those situations as a goaltender, you have to move your head out of the way so that it doesn't ricochet off of your mask and in, but easier said than done when you're shooting from 15 feet away.
There's definitely a difference here, by the way, body language. Clearly 4-0 in this period, but the Islanders look frustrated. Florida, man, they are loose and happy.
And that will end the first period. And I'm not sure if we can chalk up this first period excuse-wise just to the fact that it's the end of a long 13-game road trip to start the season for the Islanders. I'm sure that's not what Barry Trotz wants to hear, but nonetheless, the Islanders look like a team that has spent the first month of the season on the road. 4-0 Panthers. Time to head back to the studio. And John Buccigross.
Lexus intermission report on the way. We'll talk about that first period. Someone saw it coming. And we'll talk about that Red Wings Stars game from Dallas tonight on ESPN+. Back after this. Welcome back. The third overall pick in the 2011 NHL Draft. Nugent Hopkins went first. Landeskog went second. Jonathan Huberdeau went third. talked about the Panthers shuffling their lines before the game, and boy, it really paid off. It's a gorgeous effort there. Barkov, you see, tracks 3 Islanders. Duclair's speed beats Pelech, and he feeds the net-driving Huberdeau. That's some good stuff there from the Panthers' top line. They have the most points in the NHL. They haven't lost at home this year, 7-0, and there it is. 3 of the 4 lines have scored in this first period against the Islanders. Once again, the final game of their long 13-game road trip. And this was a fear of yours, Torst, before the game. You kind of saw it coming, didn't you? Especially when you give up that first one. Maybe, hey, they got the power play. Maybe the Isles score first. Maybe they get more into it, but it didn't happen.
That's what they needed. They needed a goal. But the injuries, 13 games, traveling forever, thinking about home, a pretty good Florida team here, a deep Florida team that's looking to play with some urgency. The dangerous thing here now for the coach is how do you handle your intermission? Because they're human. Players are human. Hey, Callie, it is stacked up against you.
So you wouldn't go scream at them right now?
I would not. Yeah. I would not. I would probably, when I've done it with Ryan a few times, I said, Callie, you know what, you take the I would probably go in tonight, though, and try to be with them a little bit and just try to help them out, because it's a dangerous spot here, because you could lose some players if you go in there and peel the paint in this type of situation. And, you got to pick your spots with that. I'm interested, I'd be interested to hear what Al Barry handled.
Well, you saw some technical defensive breakdown too, right, Callie? Players running around their own end. How do you want the coach or coaches to fix that? Yeah,
there was, and there's mental letdowns, right? And it's guys out of position that aren't normally out of position, uncharacteristic, and it's a tired group, it's an exhausted group, and Torts is right. I mean, if you come in as a coach right now and tear a strip off us and tell us how bad we're playing, we know that, we realize that you're going to lose us, and we're going to zone you out, really. Yeah. We're like, we get it, we understand. We're on the tough road trip right now, and the hard part about this game too, coming into it, is they're not going into a building that's loud and energetic, and they're going into Florida. Let's be honest, it's not a great atmosphere there. So you have to try to create your own energy when you don't have any, right? So that's hard. They needed to get out of that first period and get later in that game and be close. And then they could be like, hey, we're in this one. Maybe we could steal a point or two. But that first period couldn't have gone any worse.
Yeah, and you had a great point, too. The kids miss dad. The wife might have a to-do list tomorrow, And so there's stuff on people's minds as you prepare to come home from a long, long road trip. And so far, not so good, but for Jonathan Huberdeau and the Florida Panthers, it was really good. They're 0-2-2 in their last 4. Again, still the most points in the league. They're thinking Stanley Cup, man, and they haven't lost at home. And, boy, the big guns came out to play. They score first, and they piled on from there. Let's preview our Red Wing Stars when we come back.
This first intermission report is presented by...
It's a Tuesday night in Texas, Dallas to be exact, as the American Airlines Center gets set for the Stars to host the Detroit Red Wings in our tilt. And as we welcome you into American Airlines Center, Kevin, when we think of these Dallas Stars, there were such high expectations this season for them to be back in that playoff contention, but so far they've struggled out of the gates. But they picked up a win against Philadelphia on Saturday night. How do they build off of it this evening?
Best thing for me is their start. That's going to be critical for them, especially with the Detroit team coming off a back-to-back. If you're Dallas, get off to your start early, get the forecheck going, and push the pace with speed, and see where some of these legs could be situated for the Detroit Red Wings on a back-to-back game. I would say it's going to have to be led on the back end, though, by Miro Heiskanen, who's one of the best defensemen in the world, and I don't say that lightly. An outstanding member of their blue line, multi-time All-Star out of Finland. It's hard to believe he's only 23 years old, Leah. This guy seems like he's been around much longer than that, and he plays with poise of a seasoned veteran. An amazing skater, outstanding balance, tremendous defensively, great offensively, and you talk to players around the league, every single person talks about him, and rightfully so, in the elite group of defensemen.
You mentioned that the Red Wings have a back-to-back. They lost to Columbus last night in a game which they held the lead twice with, and Rick Bowness says forget about the back-to-back. He expects Detroit to come out firing tonight. Do you expect the same thing?
Well, listen, youth should be served because they do have a lot of young legs in this group in Detroit, and of course they're led by their captain, Dylan Larkin, who now has 13 points in 13 games. But when you look at him in that line, and really in its totality from him all the way across, Lucas Raymond, the young budding star out of Sweden, the rookie, 17 points in 17 games. And Todd Bertuzzi's nephew, Tyler, 17 points in 17 games as well. I think the biggest thing for me when I watch that line is they can really generate offense, seemingly, and it looks pretty easy when you watch them. Of course, not necessarily the case, but at will. They've got pace, they can hunt pucks, they can hound pucks, they can make plays, a lot of creativity. That's a line to watch if you're the Dallas Stars tonight.
All right, we'll see what happens. Red Wings and Stars coming at you.
Highlights around the league. Austin Matthews, he's going to be the first American-born player, Torch, to score 700 NHL goals.
This is a nice goal through the seam, and he gets rid of it quick.
Pure and simple every time. A little bit of a slow start, but Amats will get her going. He's got 7 now, a little behind the pack. Kakko gets his second, Callie.
Serving the number well, Kakko is number 24 there for the Rangers.
And Callie's 2-4.
Guess I left some goals in that jersey.
Heck yeah.
But it's good for him to get going. It's good for the Rangers as well. They need him if they want to make the playoffs and make a push in the playoffs. So confidence is a big thing in this game.
I think that sweater's a little bigger than yours was.
Why? What are you trying to say?
I'm not trying. I said what I said.
He certainly played big.
Hey, you know what Torts has in common with Ryan Lombard? They both played college hockey in Maine.
Oh, did he really? He's a Mainer. Huh?
This has been the Lexus Intermission Report, brought to you by Torts and Maine.
The Panthers blitzed the Islanders with 4 goals. Huberdeau got it started. Lombard would follow. Verhaeghe with a wraparound. And Hornquist off the ear of Sorokin, prompting a goalie change. We'll talk about that in a moment, as this is ESPN Plus Hockey Night, presented by New Amsterdam Vodka. Bob Wischusen here with Brian Boucher, AJ Malesko as well. Start of the second period to come, but those numbers, the dominant numbers of an outstanding team, and maybe Bush playing against a team that's wrapping up a 13-game road trip to start the season.
Yeah, the Florida Panthers look like a team that was rested, didn't they, in that first period? They played with energy. They played fast. I thought they did a terrific job defending the front of their net. It was a good first 20 minutes for the Panthers, led by Barkov's line. Obviously, they put Huberdeau there, and they really got going. AJ, I don't know about you. It did look like the Islander team in that first period was a team that looks like they're fatigued right now.
Yeah, as good as the Florida Panthers were, I thought the Islanders certainly struggled. And they're known for their D zone. They're known for their structure. They're known for their detail under Barry Trotz. All of that seemed to be out the window for those 20 minutes. Now this is the 4th game in a row that they've given up at least 4 goals. First time under Barry Trotz they've ever given up 4 goals in a single period. So they certainly have a lot they need to clean up.
And an interesting conversation from our group back in the studio about if you are Barry Trotz with a veteran team, having played the way they just played in the first 20 minutes, how do you deal with them?
Yeah, I thought Torts and Callie had a great conversation about that. And not, look, they know what they did wrong. They have to start correcting some mistakes. Take care of the front of their net a lot better. Protect the house. And then they got to do a better job of getting pucks to the net. Too many shots blocked in that first period. Find ways to get pucks to the net. Bodies there. Chip away at this deficit. See if you can work your way back into this game.
The Panthers already with pressure to start off the second period as that Uyghur shot is steered away now by Semyon Varlamov, who has come on in place of Ilya Sorokin after Sorokin gave up 4 in the opening period.
Look at the way Florida transitions the puck so quickly, whether by skating it or a quick pass like that.
We saw it in the first period, AJ. They look, it's not all about just the feet, right? When you skate, it's about how quickly you move the puck up ice and how you can keep a team on their heels.
Huberdeau to the trailer. Gudis, that drive is shouldered away by Varlamov. Chara and Duclair behind the net. Barkov works the end boards. He'll slide one back to the point. Gudis pokes it to keep it alive. Barkov, high slot, down low. There's a shot that caroms to the near corner from Forsling. And more pressure put on by Florida as they continue to cycle. Barkov sends it between the dots. That is intercepted by Palmieri, and he's able to get it out to center.
Palmieri could use the boards there, put a puck into space.
And now a penalty is upcoming against the Islanders as they spill Barkov as he tried to come in. And now Duclair looks like he took exception to that hit.
Yeah, Mayfield clipped legs with Barkov, and Barkov seems to be in some discomfort on the ice. Not a good sign. Looks like they caught legs. See if Mayfield there's a way to avoid it, or if it's just one of those plays where you just can't get out of the way. Here, Mayfield going in, trying to make contact, and you see the left legs catch each other.
Hate that knee to knee.
And Mayfield's coming in for the hit. No, I don't think he sticks his leg out. I don't think there's anything wrong that Mayfield did.
It looks like he's lining up for a pretty good hip check right there. Barkov's very mobile. He tries to elude him.
That angle right there does not look good. That looked like you can watch Barkov's left knee and the torque that it takes.
He's really
he's in a lot of pain. This
struggling.
Even if the move by Mayfield is borderline at best, is it still incumbent upon your teammates to come in and protect the captain and your star?
Absolutely. I mean, you make sure you got some words for Mayfield, no doubt about that.
Well, especially when it happens in real time, they don't necessarily see exactly how it happens. Was there a little cheapness to it, or was it just incidental? Saw Chara stepping up there too. Thought we might have a third fight in 2 nights.
See, the officials are talking about this at the timekeeper's crease.
I mean, this doesn't necessarily seem to be a simple minor penalty. I don't know that the discussion would be going on this long. Let's see what the call is.
Islanders penalty number 24 has been assessed a major penalty. It will now be reviewed.
Well, let's bring in Dave Jackson, who is our officiating expert, longtime National Hockey League referee. Dave, a major penalty now being reviewed. What is your thought, and what do you think they're looking for?
Well, I mean, I've been in this situation many times. It's a tough call. Is there any intent? No, not really. He's trying to make body contact on the player. He leads with his leg. He doesn't stick it out the last second. I believe it's a penalty, and it's up to the referee's judgment as to whether there was intent, as to whether they call 5 or not. I love the fact they can review it on video, and they're going to come up with the right answer.
How hard is it, though, to, I guess, judge intent? When you say it doesn't look like he intends to commit what would qualify as a major penalty, I mean, how much is it between the ears for you trying to read that?
Right. By intent, it would be watch. Well, let's listen to the call first.
It has been determined it is a 5-minute penalty for kneeing and a game misconduct. 24 Islanders, 5 in game mean.
So there it is, 5 and a game.
So, Dave, I have a question for you. Is it because he led with the leg as to why this would be a 5-minute major? I mean, to me, it looks like he's trying to line up, hit shoulder to shoulder, but the leg certainly was the lead part of his body.
Yes, and when you look at the video, what the referees would determine here is that he sort of leans to his right and the left leg comes out to the side. It's not a straight on through the body. He's leaning right, left leg is out a bit. He's making his body wider, and I believe that's probably why they determined it was a 5-minute major.
Does injury have anything to do with calling it a major, the fact that Barkov left the ice?
Absolutely. Player pops right back up and there's no intent. In the referee's opinion, then you're probably going to see a 2-minute call. The fact there's injury here, the referees defaulted to calling a major and then reviewing the video.
For the Panthers' sake, we'll keep our fingers crossed for the health of their captain, Alexander Barkov.
That's a tough break for the Islanders, already understaffed back in the blue line with Ryan Pulock out with a lower body injury as of today. And then some inexperience with Sebastian Aho and Noah Dobson, who has struggled lately.
So a 5-minute major assessed. Long time on the power play here for the Panthers, but a good job by the Islanders to at least clear a couple of times. As already the first 37 gone. As you can follow the NHL on social media for behind-the-scenes coverage of the biggest moments, original content with your favorite players, highlights from the best plays in hockey, the NHL present on every social media platform.
You know, that play by Mayfield, I will say, I've never laid a hit in my life, Bob. I know you probably don't believe that. But I don't get the sense that there was intent there on Mayfield's part. I think he was trying to, you know, go shoulder to shoulder. I think it was a play that went wrong for him. I don't think he's a dirty player in that regard, and I think it was just an unfortunate play. And as you said, hopefully Barkov's okay, but I don't think there was any malicious intent by Mayfield whatsoever.
I would agree with that, Bush. And also, just when the play happens that quickly and these players are so mobile like a Barkov, how do you get out of the way?
Yeah, it's a great point.
Varlamov with the save. Off the wrister from Bennett, and a penalty is upcoming. As now Chara with a heavy hit after the whistle behind the net, and this is going to be a penalty that will, at least for 2 minutes of the 3:43 remaining, even things up for the Islanders, as it looks like Sam Bennett will go.
Minor penalty, hooking.
Sam Bennett aggressively denying that he did anything wrong. And, you know, this is one of those things that if you look at the way the Florida Panthers are very aggressive, the way they're playing, and it's right in there. His stick gets caught up, and he's claiming that Cizikas pinned the stick down.
Anytime you get that stick in the midsection like that, and the referees are more than not going to call that call. And seeing it, you know, this game could get out of hand. I think the Islanders are thrilled that they get a little respite off this 5-minute kill right now and get some 4-on-4 hockey.
Yeah, I think 4-on-4 right now benefits Florida, though, just with their confidence, the looseness, and the speed with which they play. This extra ice helps them.
Of course, with Barkov with the knee injury back in the locker room, that's a big 4-on-4 weapon that the Panthers right now would be missing, as Aho has it on the back pedal to Adam Pelech. And Pelech banks it off the end wall, and Aho will bring it forward. Still a minute 18 to go in 4-on-4 time. Then it'll be back to the power play for the Panthers. And the Islanders content to rag it back to center. Pelech glides forward, gains the zone. Looks for some help, finds a trailer. Barzal moves down, hit the post. Oh, that close to getting the Islanders on the board.
Frustration from Matt Barzal. He looked a little surprised to find himself that wide open coming down Broadway, get the puck on his stick. He takes a little stick handle, and good puck movement by the Islanders, and a good look up there to find Matt Barzal in that location. Takes a stick handle, here it is, and then you heard a pretty loud ding right off the iron.
And good job by Anders Lee, right, occupying that front of the net with Mackenzie Weegar. And Barzal shooting past the screen. Bobrovsky never saw it. Second post of the game for the New York Islanders here tonight.
Dobson works it to Pajot behind the net. Away from Gudas. They'll flip it along the shelf, hoping for Palmieri. Walled off by Mackenzie Weegar. And now Gudas has the puck. Down to the last half minute of the 4-on-4, and then it will be a power play once again for Florida.
Islanders have done a good job in this 4-on-4, driving a lot of the play.
Well, they could certainly use a goal to try and get back in the game. Reinhart and Pajot come together in the right wing corner, and now it's reversed to Gudas. 8 seconds to go in the 4-on-4. Bennett poised at the doors, set to come out.
One good thing for the Islanders, they've had so much mixing and matching on the back end that we're playing 5D right now. They've all played with each other all throughout the season, this short season so far. They're comfortable with it.
Bennett out, heads to the bench. Duclair jumps on, as does Hornquist. And still 90 seconds to go in the major of power play time for the Panthers. Pelech beaten to the puck by Reinhart, and that centering pass caroms off a skate, and the Islanders get a fortunate clear. Still a minute 10 to go in power play time for the Panthers. 5.5 minutes gone by in the second period. Reinhart off the skates of Duclair, and that allows again for an Islander clear, that time by Clutterbuck. Lavillier providing pressure. Back the other way comes Sam Reinhart. He'll wrap it around. Under the stick of Varlamov. Huberdeau lost it. Zach Parise able to feather one down, and he'll go off for a change.
Well, early on in this power play for the Panthers, they had a couple of good looks before Bennett took that penalty. Since the 4-on-4, it has been a disjointed effort for the Panthers on the power play. And it's certainly something that you would not have expected, seeing what they did before the penalty occurred to Bennett.
Owen Tippett tried to force one around, intercepted by Pelech, and the Islanders unable to clear. Huberdeau gives it away to Pelech. Pelech tries to stick handle it free, and he'll backhand one. That is kept in. Tippett has it. His back pass missed Bennett, and a chance for the Islanders to break with 2 seconds down to 1. And we are now back at 5 aside. Wallstrom out of the box. as the Islanders, with the help of a minor penalty called on Bennett, kill off the major.
I think Florida was just getting a little too cute on their power play. They've struggled lately. They need to simplify.
Montour right wing faceoff dot off the outside of the net with a soft wrist shot. Swept by Green to the half boards. And looking for a home run pass was Wahlstrom behind Brock Nelson. And it's sent right back in.
Anders Lee got away with one there.
Aho to Lee in front of the penalty box doors. Taken away by Gudis. Varlamov will keep it moving. Gave it away. Verhaeghe tried to sweep one out in front as he had Lundell lurking in the slot. Loose at the Islander line. They battled for it. Lomborg won the battle. There's a wrister that goes wide by Lundell. Moved up the boards by Clutterbuck. Bellows to center. Lee with a one-touch looking for Barzal. Anders Lee has it and sends it deep.
A couple of good opportunities there for the Panthers. A good read by Verhaeghe on that forecheck while Varlamov was playing the puck, and they're trying to provide some energy after a power play that seemed to be a little lackluster. A good shift there for Verhaeghe and Lomborg and company.
Gustav Forsling together with Nelson. Beauvillier trying to provide some pressure. Behind the net, it is Nelson. Trying to dig it free. Beauvillier keeps it moving. Verhaeghe, though, has it for the Panthers, and he'll chip it out of harm's way. Strength from Brock Nelson. Took a hit from Reinhardt, kept his edge, and got it deep. Back to support the puck. And move it along with Vetrano, and now out and neutralize Connaughton. The Islanders win that battle, and Beauvillier winds it deep and goes off for a change. Off the stick of Vetrano, the stretch pass. Avoids icing. Sebastian Aho out to center to Cizikas. Cizikas leans in. Tipped on net by Clutterbuck. And that one stopped by Bobrovsky.
Now that all started with a good outlet pass there by Sebastian Aho. A strength of his game. Hasn't played much hockey in the last 2 years. Another good pass there to Martin. So a couple of good passes there by Aho leading to that opportunity just a moment ago.
Andy Green pinches in. Overskated it. Had left it for Hornquist, and now out for Lomborg. He'll go after his own dump in. Comes together with Noah Dobson. Hornquist dug it free. Gathered by the Islanders, though, and now Green. Banks one to Cizikas. Gains the red line. Across the Panthers line. Right wing faceoff dot tied up with Ekblad. And now it's back to Green at the left point. Soft wrist shot. Glove down by Bobrovsky. And he will hold on midway through the second.
Well, the Islanders with an important kill in this period. They're trying to find some life. This generated chance here by Casey Cizikas doesn't go, but the Islanders are trying to find their first of the hockey game.
Rangers hosting Montreal after Christian Dvorak had tied it for the Canadiens. Who do you think responds? Chris Kreider with his 12th goal of the season. Zibanejad with a great pass, Bob. 2-1 Rangers.
What do you think push the Rangers could be?
Well, listen, they made some changes in the offseason to get a little bit stiffer, a little bit tougher to play against, right? And, you know, the coaching change. I think they're a team that can make the playoffs. I really do. I think they've got enough talent on that team. Their goaltending, I think, is top-notch. And anytime you have that, you have a chance. And if the young guys can start to take that next step, that's where you can start to do some damage. And they're still green, I feel, but I think they're a team that is certainly on the ascent, and I would not be shocked if they, you know, if they're playing in the playoffs come springtime.
The Islanders the opposite. Anything but green. The oldest team in the National Hockey League by average age, of course, with Andy Green and Zdeno Chara. That'll tilt the age scale a bit when you've got a 39-year-old defenseman and a 44-year-old defenseman. But it is a veteran team, and you know once they get home and get their footing underneath them, they are going to be every bit the threat this year that they have been the last several.
Right, and when you get to springtime, too, when the games get bigger, that's where I think the veteran leadership comes in and the experience. And this team has been so close in the last couple of years. They're looking to get over the hump come this spring.
NHLShop.com, the official online store of the NHL and the world's largest selection of officially licensed NHL fan gear. Shop now and get today's special offer. NHLShop.com, a Fanatics experience.
And AJ, you see this team up close so often. If there's one area that you think the Islanders could address, maybe even personnel-wise, where would it be?
Just in this game tonight, I think this is a struggle here. There's a lot of areas of the game, I think, tonight at the end of this road trip. But I think generally speaking, they need a goal scorer right now. They've got a lot of setup guys, and their goal scorers aren't putting the puck in the back of the net. So they just need somebody to do that for them.
And is that an internal solution with Palmieri and Parise and guys that just haven't scored yet?
Yeah, absolutely. You've got those two that you mentioned. Lee is just coming alive, three goals in the last 4 games. They certainly have guys that can do it. Wallstrom is a goal scorer. He's a sniper when he can be. I think they do have some cap space though, and they'll look to add. And they're going to look to add probably a mobile defenseman too to try to add some offense.
Yeah, I think that first line right wing is a hole that has been created in the loss of Eberle.
Here's a 3-on-1. Duclair between the circles. Chipped in on net and turned aside by Varlamov.
And I think that's a work in progress. I think maybe some of the younger guys, like AJ mentioned, Wallstrom, could step in and be a guy that can score at the National Hockey League level. That will be determined. And how much are they missing Nick Leddy right now on the back end? I mean, that's another hole that was created when Leddy was traded to Detroit. I think they're missing him on the back end. Their D pairs haven't been the same all year long, considering what they were last year. They were so steady with the pairs that they had, and Pelech and Pulock typically played together, and we haven't seen a lot of that this year, have we, AJ?
No, not at all. And I asked Barry Trotz about that this morning. He said, I can't play them together. He loves them together, but he can't just based on the personnel they have. 2 years ago, they were missing Devon Taves too with a trade to Colorado. Those are 2 puck-moving, transporting defensemen, beautiful skaters, and they certainly are missing that.
Beauvillier grinding behind the net, pinned by Connaughton. They battle for it, and Pajot comes away with it out in front. Wallstrom couldn't tee it up. He'll throw one to the net mouth, and that Karam's behind, throws his body around once again. And now a stretch pass gathered in center, brought across the line by Vetrano, and he'll go off for a change.
That was a good shift for the Islanders right there. A good hard-working shift, playing below the dots, below the goal line. You could see Wallstrom trying to get physical. I mean, you're trying to find a way to get some energy and chip away at this deficit, as I've said a couple of times here tonight. Shifts like that can be contagious on the bench. You want to make sure you follow it up with a good one. No better line to do it than the Cizikas line. Let's see if they can.
Just going to say that.
Yeah, let's see if they can provide it.
These guys can bring some energy. There's no question about that. They've struggled a little bit here, going late. Cizikas not in the lineup last night, but they've got that. It's in their DNA.
Ekblad gets a return, moves in, drives one, and scores! Defenseman to defenseman. And it's 5-0 Panthers on the blast from Aaron Ekblad.
Well,
some excitement here. You talk about how for the Florida Panthers, the crowd here is liking what they see. They're not super loud, but there is energy on the bench. These guys are excited. You can see the way that they're moving the puck. They withstand and weather that storm that you were just talking about, Bush, and then they're able to come back with some confidence, defense to defense, as you mentioned, Bob. And what a bomb by Ekblad. I really like how he snuck in, took the ice away, and recognized that he had that opportunity.
Now look at the route that Clutterbuck takes, though. I mean, he ends up circling in the neutral zone, and when he does that, that's what opens up Ekblad on that weak side. The details are not there right now for the New York Islanders, and Ekblad is able to put home his 5th of the year.
We're just talking about the leadership on this Islanders group, and some of it right now, it's whether it's exhaustion or not, they gotta figure it out. And is home ice advantage going to make that big a difference right off the bat? Barry Trotz was saying, is it our home? We've never played there before, and Calgary Flames on Saturday night will play there as many times as we will. So it's going to be interesting to see how this team reacts to having UBS Arena. But they will have a good crowd, I guarantee you that.
Verhaeghe moves in. His pass intended for Bennett. Karam to the corner. Connaughton at the line, sends it in behind the net. And it's turned over, and the Islanders come back the other way. Kiefer Bellows. Barzal now with speed. Tries to muscle his way towards the net. Walled off by Connaughton. Bellows moves in and puts a body on Connaughton. And now Verhaeghe. Rink wide to Duclair. He comes across the line. Drop pass. Montour looking for a return to Duclair. A turnover instead. And Bellows ahead. Now with a step, Palmieri moves in. Shoots it and scores! So the Islanders get on the board. Patience shown there by Kyle Palmieri as he roofs it behind Bobrovsky. And the Islanders light the lamp for the first time.
Well, this may not be an important goal in the context of this hockey game as far as the Islanders coming back, but this is an important goal for Kyle Palmieri. Yet to score this year, and he's a guy that's accustomed to scoring goals and really good patience here. I mean, he could have just shot this puck down the wing. Right here, he could have shot it. But the patience to hang on to it, get Bobrovsky to bite on it, and after that, it opens up the short side, and that's a veteran type play right there from a guy who's used to scoring goals. And like I say, him getting his first goal of the season, that's an important thing for him to kind of get that monkey off his back and see if he can get going, because the goal scoring has been difficult for the Islanders this year.
What I liked about Kyle Palmieri, he was coming in the zone there. He had his head looking around. He was looking for a pass, trying to figure out what he was going to do with it. Didn't recognize that he had anything, but he did recognize Bobrovsky was way out of his crease, trying to make him bite and zinged it right over.
If nothing else, it just shows a veteran team that keeps on playing and keeps on grinding no matter what the score on the board is. As Lombard looking for his second of the night. Sharp angle, and that was turned aside by Varlamov. And now it's out to center. And Mackenzie Weegar back to chase it.
Oh, there's been some good things in this period for the Islanders. I mean, the penalty kill was good. They've had a couple of good shifts. They've made mistakes in the D zone. We talked about Clutterbuck there on the 5th goal, no doubt about it. But yeah, you're not gonna lay down. I mean, guys have a lot to play for. Parisi Stoll's without a goal. Palmieri was without a goal. So these guys got to get going. Even their younger players, guys like Bellows. I mean, they have a lot to play for. So I don't suspect that this Islander team is going to lay down here in the last 24 minutes or so.
Clutterbuck able to force one to Green under the stick of Martin, but it ends up with Cizikas, and he'll chip it deep. Matt Martin behind the net, away from Montour, but taken back by Reinhart, and he'll send it hard around. Varlamov in the trapezoid, stops it for Andy Green. Head now to Cizikas, gave it away to Radko Gudas. So Palmieri gets the goal at 15 minutes from Bellows and Dobson to get the Islanders on the board. After Ekblad scored at 13:41, with Weegar getting the assist, and the Islanders offside at the Panthers line. 3:15 to go in the second period here in Sunrise. A brand new UBS Arena in Belmont when they take on the Calgary Flames. In celebration, the Empire State Building, Pier 17 at the Seaport, and the Nassau County Dome will all be illuminated in blue and orange. As we take a look at our SAP coaching insights, what type of a difference should it make for the Islanders to play at home? Well, last season, not too bad on home ice at 21-4-3.
But it won't be the Nassau Coliseum, Fort Neverlose, that's for sure. That place had its mystique. It had the noise. I'm sure the Islander fans are going to try and make it as intimidating as the Coliseum was, but the fact of the matter is it's going to take some time, and I think Barry Trotz understands that, but boy, they're going to be happy to get home and make that shiny new building theirs.
At the very least, that crowd is going to be electric on Saturday night.
I was just going to say, the fans are excited. 13 games of only watching them on TV or traveling to see them. It's going to be a loud building. I'm going to be there. I can't wait just to see the crowd and see what's going to happen for the energy in there. There's a lot of things that they've talked about, too. They're bringing some of the Coliseum pieces, the low ceiling. They want to replicate some of that noise, some of that energy.
Now, right on the heels of scoring, Palmieri
21 minor penalty cross-checking.
Is called for a 2-minute minor for cross-checking.
Oh, Palmieri, the goal scorer. See right here, it's just a little nudge on the pants of Gustav Forsling, and then we've seen the initiatives around the National Hockey League to make those calls. It doesn't seem like much, but the fact that Palmieri's stick was in that position and it was in front of the official, they're going to make that call more times than not.
A couple years ago, that would have been a good play, good timing on Palmieri's part, but close to the boards especially, they're going to make that call every time.
So back to the power play with a commanding lead for the Panthers. Ekblad, long wrist shot with Hornquist right in front. And Varlamov gloves that and holds on. Well, we've got some other national games to tell you about tomorrow night on TNT at 10 Eastern. Chicago will take on the Kraken in Seattle. Friday night, another game for the Kraken. This one on ESPN Plus against Colorado. NHL Network on Saturday, Pittsburgh, Toronto. And then Connor McDavid and Edmonton in Dallas on Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN Plus. Duclair, top of the right wing circle. Wrist shot again with Hornquist right on the doorstep. That got the shoulder of Varlamov. Clutterbuck gave it away. Duclair traps it. Ekblad fires it. And Varlamov with another save.
You know, Florida has struggled on special teams lately in this 4-game winless streak that they've had. And this is the kind of game, up 5-1 against a team that struggled on their penalty kill. They could regain some of the confidence that they had at the beginning of the season.
It maneuvers across. Banks it back to Hornquist. Straight away, Ekblad, one touch. Back to Bennett, off his stick. And as a rolling puck from Huberdeau, caromed back out to center. Back across the line, Verhaeghe moves in, sets up Huberdeau, looking for a return. And Verhaeghe ends up crashing right into Varlamov. He's being worked over by Chara near the blue paint. Beauvillier able to backhand one free.
And Varlamov took a pretty heavy hit there in the crease. Hard to tell at real speed if the Florida player was bumped into that caused the contact. Varlamov seems okay. That's a good sign.
One of the referees went over just to check on him as play was continuing at the other end to make sure that he was okay.
Well, the heart rate of Ilya Sorokin would go up if he sees him hurt. He's going to have to re-enter a game that is not one that you're probably excited to play in, down by 4.
Back at 5 aside, 50 seconds to go in the second period.
You ever done that, Bush?
Oh yeah, you see that, and you see your goaltending partner go down, and almost like you're hiding on the bench. You don't even want the coach to find you.
I don't think there's anyone else he would be looking for at that point. There's only one guy wearing big leather pads.
I was going to say, tough to hide in that gear, too.
Moving in his lead, wrap around, score! No, it came back out. I thought Bobrovsky had it pop behind him. And I'll tell you, Sebastian Aho, pardon me, is as surprised that puck didn't go in as I think I am.
Terrific poise and patience here by Aho to hang on to this puck, and what a defensive play by Sam Reinhart. It's a stick of 13 in red right here, right there. It keeps it out. Tough play on your backhand for Aho, right? I mean, the curve of the stick is going the other way. Tough to get some leverage, but terrific awareness by Reinhart to keep that out.
Well, in Aho, though, it is tough on your backhand, but he chokes up on the stick. He angles it down. He does an excellent job of controlling it as much as he could.
Barzal off the draw, won by Lee. They work it back to Green straight away. Right wing faceoff dot. Shot with Lee on the doorstep. Just about got through. And now Bobrovsky will paddle it behind the net. As Palmieri was lurking as well. Andy Green keeps it deep. Palmieri behind the net. Centers one, but it ends up on the tape of Owen Tippett. And he will end the period with the Islanders getting on the board, but still finding themselves down by 4 after 2. The Panthers with a 5-1 lead between periods. Time to head back to the studio. And John Buccigross.
Thank you, Bob. Coming up on the Discover second intermission report. John Tortorella, Ryan Callahan are next to me. We'll talk about that Barkov injury and highlights from around the league.
Are they thinking about going home already after such a long trip? Now, they've been home back and forth, but I worry about this game for them, especially if it's a first period that they struggle in. I worry about it. I've gone into locker rooms, we were talking about it, and you go in as a coach and you say, listen, don't look by this game. I know we're going home. We're starting our new building. And there's some nights you do that, and you walk out of there as a coach, and you look at the other assistant coach and say, you know what? They didn't hear a word I just said. They just want to go home. And it is a struggle for a coach, I'll tell you right now.
That was before the game, and here we are now live, streaming live on ESPN+. John Butchergrass, Ryan Callahan, who was a captain for John Tortorella. So you were the guy who was sitting there not listening to him, I guess.
Yeah, we were just watching. I said, we probably didn't listen more than you thought. So.
But now you saw it coming, and boy, it happened early, didn't it?
Yeah. And listen, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I think, I thought they played better in the second period, although they had a couple of power plays they had to kill off.
Right.
It's, as I said, they're human. It's just going to happen this way. Sometimes as a coach, you look in the schedule and you can circle the date. It's going to be stacked against us there.
Shot attempts that period, 17-8 for the Panthers. So still a dominating second period for them as they lead. But the big concern here is Alexander Barkov, this knee-on-knee situation, and really the angle straight on from behind the net. You can really see that knee from the side shoot pretty firm, but he's obviously not going to be back tonight. Most even strength points this season. Every situation guy, one of the best players in the league. You just hope this, at best, it's a knee sprain, maybe an MCL, but man, we don't want great players in this league ever to go down. But this is tough. Again, you got a new coach in Andrew Burnett, and when your best player goes down, first of all, what does a teammate think when that happens? What do the guys do, then what the coaches do?
Yeah, everybody's holding their breath, especially when it's a guy like Barkov. I mean, the guys know how important he is to that team, and I've been in situations before that. I've seen Stammer going out a couple of times when I was in Tampa, and everybody holds their breath, and I guarantee they're talking to the trainer, as the trainer comes back on the bench. What's his status? How's he doing? What's going on with him? He's such an important part of that team. It reminded me a lot of Ekblad last year, right? Hopefully it's not as serious,
right.
but such an important guy to that lineup. You hate to see him go down. Who's having an unbelievable year for the Florida Panthers.
And what about Bruno? What does he do?
Yeah, his head's spinning right now because that's one of the best players in the league, one of his top players. They're trying to find their way here a little bit to get going again, and he just listens to the trainer and just hopes for the best. It's bad for the league too. I don't think there was intent.
No, I don't think there was either.
Yeah, but you lose a top player like that, you just hope it isn't a real bad injury.
Yeah, they did the old ACL test early. Let's just hope that's not that, and then from there, because last year was Aaron Ekblad. And you talk about one of the best defensemen in the NHL, whether it's power play or PK. You look at time on ice in both situations, always a big number for number 5. That was a dime.
This second intermission report is presented by
John Butchergrass, John Tortorella, Ryan Callahan, 2 Italians and an Irishman. That's Austin Matthews, and on the power play, Tally, boom.
Best release in the game, Austin Matthews. The way he pulls it in, snaps it off his stick. He's going to lead this league in scoring this year, I think, goals. He's getting going right now.
Yeah, Toronto's going. They've won 8 of 10. They're right on the heels of the Panthers. That should be a good 2-horse race all year. I think they've separated themselves. The bolts are also starting to come. Here comes Kakko. This was in his feet. He got a lot on it. That's skill right there. Watch this. Right towards his left skate, and boom. Going 2 straight for the kid, Torch. That's important, huh?
Yeah, to get him going, to add in with some of the scoring that they already have.
Oh, we don't want to let that one in.
That's not a great goal.
Is that your boy?
That one leaks through. That's one thing in Edmonton.
Lowry.
Is goaltending. Is that going to be a question mark down the stretch?
See what Kenny Holland, who went in the Hall of Fame last night, former goaltender, has to say about that. Smith's hurt. Koskinen's been pretty good. Philadelphia, Calgary's going to open the building for you Islander fans watching here on ESPN+. They got the only goal of this game so far.
Yeah, that's a big game. Last time these two teams played, Calgary outplayed Philly pretty bad.
How about the Buffalo Sabres walking into Pittsburgh tonight? Lead 1-0. We're going to add another one. Give it to me. Kyle Poso called for it and goes 5-hole. Your boy Sully's down in this one, Torts.
Yeah, they've had a lot of things around their team. Injuries, COVID, all that. And they just got to get some traction.
Capobianco is going to open the scoring in this game for the Coyotes in St. Louis tonight. With a lot of traffic there.
I'm not sure how the goaltender is supposed to see this one. I think he got 7 guys in front of him.
It's a no-look pass from O'Reilly. Kyrou, I love Kyrou's game. Man, he's fun to watch.
Yeah, he's a good player.
0-2-5 or Sean Podine's number. What to watch for? How about the Ducks? They have 999 wins in their franchise. And Ryan Getzlaf has played 999 points in his career, all with the Ducks. That's pretty cool. We could have a couple 1,000-point numbers there. Getzlaf, what a career. Stanley Cup, is one of those 1,000-game, 1,000-point. He's going to go in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, he's a perfect guy right now for the Anaheim Ducks for leading those young guys, right? It seems like he's found the fountain of youth, playing with the young guys there, and he's a disher, and that's what he does.
How about that team? They've won 7 in a row.
Yeah, it's a major surprise to me, because I think for them, too.
I think so.
I think they slow down here, boys, a little bit. But, yeah, it's the captain of that team and where they are right now, it's a perfect fit.
Yeah. He's a serious guy, right? He's a serious captain.
Yes, he's the ultimate pro, right? When you talk about guys who are pros, the kid's throwing around a lot, but that's Getzlaf, right? He was so hard to play against. I remember playing against him. He's always in your face. He's always going at you. And then he can pass like that and play like that.
Yeah, he likes confrontation. Zegras and Terry, lucky to have Ryan Getzlaf. Well, the Panthers, all right, beverage up. Let's hope the captain's okay. This has been the Discover Second Intermission Report.
To you by Progressive. And it was this kind of first period for the Panthers and Islanders. The fourth goal of the period scored by Hornquist off the ear of Ilya Sorokin. And then a major penalty and a game misconduct given to Scott Mayfield. Knee-to-knee on Alexander Barkov, and Barkov had to be helped off the ice. So if we can get an update for you on the Panthers captain, we certainly will, as we welcome you back to ESPN Plus Hockey Night, presented by New Amsterdam Vodka. Bob Wischusen, Brian Boucher, AJ Malesko set for the start of the third period. 8 more shots, 4 more goals for the Panthers. 1 goal on the board for the Islanders. It is obviously a lopsided score, but there is still something to be accomplished for New York in the third period.
Yeah, it's the last game of a 13-game road trip. I thought they did some good things in that second period. Their penalty kill was good on the 5-minute major. Palmieri was able to score, get his first of the year. That's important. Can Parise get his first one? Maybe some of the younger kids like Wahlstrom and Bellows, can they get on the board? It's not all for nothing. I mean, I think these last 20 minutes, it's important that you put your best foot forward, knowing that you're going home. It has not been the night that they've been looking for, but I suspect that these last 20 minutes, you're going to see a real push here from the Islanders to try and get back into this hockey game. But got to give credit to the Panthers. They've done a good job here tonight.
Well, yeah, and you look at what the Islanders, they are trying to build, whether win or loss here, and they're at 500. If they go back a little under 500, it's not the end of the world. They've got a lot of games at home to try to rebuild some of that. But you're right, Bush, just to try to get some of these guys on the board, like a Palmieri, who, they expect a little bit more out of him. I think that's going to be big for them. You look at the 2 posts they hit. Barzal had a post, Palmieri had a post. Aho had a near goal at the end of the second period. So they had a couple chances, and this game could have a different complexion if those went in.
A hit to start off the third period. Radko Gudas went right into the chest of Nelson. And that draws Palmieri to try and defend him. And that is, you would think, a bit of a mismatch. The linesmen, I think, realize it, and they jump in to save Kyle Palmieri.
Yeah, this is a clean hit from what I see in real speed.
Agreed.
Just a good, clean, open ice hit, and Palmieri doing what he's supposed to do, and that step in for his teammate. I don't see anything with the legs. It looks like shoulder right to chest.
Yeah, all game they've been trying to catch Brock Nelson. He's been coming through the neutral zone with speed, and they've had trouble along the boards. Right there, Radko Gudas has no trouble. See him, his head's down a little bit, Nelson, as he corrals that puck. But I think that's a good clean hit. Nelson looks like he hit a brick wall. But, you see what happens with Palmieri jumping in his defense. Does this ignite anything on the Islanders bench? Does this get them going?
And the good news, too, is Nelson seems to be okay.
New York Islanders penalty, number 21, 2 minutes for instigating, 5 minutes for fighting, and 10-minute misconduct. Florida, number 7, 5 minutes for fighting.
So Palmieri gets the instigator, which you'd expect. He was the one that went after Gudas. It was a clean hit, and Trotz agrees with it. But in the context of a team, right, you want guys sticking up for one another. This is not like it's a 1-1 game, and it's somewhere you got to keep a cooler head. It's a 5-1 game. You don't like seeing a hit like that when the score is like that. So the Islanders will say on the bench, hey, let's get this one killed. Palmieri did a good job sticking up for Brock Nelson.
We got to kill this one for him.
And that is Radko Gudas' game. He came into tonight second in the National Hockey League in hits through the first month of the season, and he's got 6 hits tonight. And as you said, it was a hard hit, open ice hit, but a clean hit.
Yeah, it was a clean hit. And sometimes those are hard to finish off the right way, right? We saw what happened with Mayfield on Barkov. Typically easier to hit along the wall, but Gudas had him lined up perfectly. He got low, was able to drive his shoulder right into his chest. And like I said, good news is Nelson looks like he's okay.
Well, back to the power play with a 5-1 lead for the Panthers. As Bennett looked for Huberdeau, it's wrapped around to a vacant point by Duclair. And the Panthers clear the puck on their own. Ekblad back to retrieve it. Panthers are 0 for 2 on the power play tonight. They have 4 total shots. All 5 of their goals have been even strength. Bennett across the line to Huberdeau. Huberdeau along the half boards, turned it over. Pajot took it away. Now let's Beauvillier.
Good job there by Pajot to disrupt right high in the zone.
Beauvillier gets tangled up with Hornquist behind the net. Those two go tumbling to the ice as Huberdeau stops center circle. And Reinhart will backtrack.
Good job there. That was Noah Dobson defending his own blue line. Good stick, stopping them in their tracks.
There Hagee along the half boards, wound around behind the net past Lundell. Reinhart has it, left wing face-off dot back to the point to Montour. Now it's Reinhart. He'll pivot away from Pajot. 18 seconds still to go on the power play. Reinhart holding, straight away Montour, fakes the shot, gets a return, wrist shot through traffic, stopped easily with the glove by Varlamov.
NHL's newest franchise.
The Kraken on the board. Right place, right time. Release the Kraken!
We did get word from Panthers public relations that it is officially a lower body injury to Alexander Barkov, and he will not return. Team's just about set to be back at even strength as Vetrano left it for Verhaeghe. And now a possible breakaway as out of the box was Wahlstrom serving the penalty. He'll try and bank one from behind the net off of Bobrovsky, and Bobrovsky was ready for it.
That's a tough break for Wahlstrom. Out of the box, that's one thing you dream of when you come out that you're going to get a breakaway opportunity. He wasn't able to catch that pass. That is a missed opportunity for the Islanders right there.
Would have done a lot for Wahlstrom, get some of that confidence back. He's right now, Barry Trotz has been open about his struggles and what he's expecting of him. It's not just scoring goals, it's all playing the right way, going back to his detailed game.
Dobson pinching in. But the Panthers get the puck back as Forsling gets it across his own line, looking for Vetrano. And now it's back to Aho. Rink wide Dobson. He'll bring it forward. And backhand one in. Peel off for a change. Some pressure from Barzal and Parise behind the net. And here is Zach Parise. Flips one for Martin. Ah, just missed. Barzal has it. Got Anders Lee out there. Thrown towards the net. And Lee on a deflection attempt may have caught the puck, but it caromed up into his face. He is shaken up. And it looks like he's headed back to the Islander bench.
Yeah, I think that was the puck that went off his stick and then off his face. A break for Lee there.
Villiers tries to force one deep. Able to free it to Wahlstrom. Maneuvers out in front. Backhands it wide. A wraparound attempt on the rebound by Barzal. Just missed. Here is Chara. Fires one. Glove save made by Bobrovsky. And he will hold on.
Well, Oliver Wahlstrom has had a couple of chances since coming out of the box. This is the one where he's serving the penalty for Kyle Palmieri. Gets out. It's like a dream come true. You get this stretch pass and not able to corral it. Missed opportunity. He knows it. And then this one here, you think he's going to pull the trigger there? Nope. He hangs on to it. He put it through the legs of Bobrovsky. Unfortunately, It just missed the net. Good patience and poise there by Wahlstrom, but a couple of chances, one where he missed out of the box and that one there.
You know, I'd like to see him shoot that on his forehand, though. He's got an incredible release. Here he is again. That one's blocked, but he's got a great shot. Got to get it off.
His centering pass, Karam to Duclair. Duclair flips one to Huberdeau. That pass through the slot was knocked away by Pajot. And now Wahlstrom pivots one to the Villiers. And try to wrap a pass around it. Pajot goes in, puts a shoulder into Connaughton. Duclair tracks it down center circle, overskated it. Pajot stretch pass to Beauvillier. He's all by himself. Now he's waiting for some help and finds some in a trailer. It's Chara, wrist shot. Bobrovsky makes the save. Had no idea where the puck went. It caromed up over his right shoulder and just missed the post. Zdeno Chara in front of his own bench, gave it away to Reinhart. There have been opportunities, Boost, throughout this game for the Islanders. They have had some tough luck at the offensive end as well.
You're absolutely right. AJ mentioned it too. I mean, the chance by Aho in the second period, a couple of hit posts. The chance for Wahlstrom just a moment ago. Chara's opportunity. That look, Bobrovsky had no idea where it was. I mean, there have been some opportunities for the Islanders. Had they gone the other way, this would be a hockey game and just one of those nights where they're not dropping for the Islanders.
AJ, at rink level, would you say that the effort of the Islanders is not really reflected in the 5-1 score? They have had, as we just talked about, maybe more scoring opportunities than the scoreboard would lead you to believe.
Yeah, and actually, I'd say their energy has gotten better here in this third period. The first period was where I thought they struggled. Their shoulders were slumped. Their body language showed frustration. And I think second period, they got outshot, but they were a little bit better. And even now, they're showing energy and seem to have a little bit of bite to their game.
Well, they've outshot the Panthers, Bush, so far 7-2 through the first 7 minutes of the third. Wahlstrom with a step, fires one, and that's deflected up and out of play as Ekblad was able to get a stick in. Just over 7 minutes gone by in the third, 5-1. Panthers on top. ESPN Plus Hockey Night presented by New Amsterdam Vodka, the official vodka of the NHL. Drink responsibly. 7-2, they've outshot them.
Oh, a couple of missed opportunities for the Islanders in this hockey game. The chance by Barzal off the post. Wallstrom out of the box where he wasn't able to handle it. This one through the legs of Bobrovsky. It doesn't go. So the Islanders, although they are down 5-1 in this hockey game, they have had some opportunities, not able to cash in. As we look at Lou Lamoriello, the president and general manager of the New York Islanders, looking on. I'm sure he cannot wait to get this team on home ice. Road trip not ending the way they wanted to here in Florida.
But showing some jump down 5-1 in the third period. Puck loose between the face-off circles right in front of Varlamov. And it is gathered by Aho. Banks it off the half boards. But thrown deep by Gudas. Zdeno Chara forces one towards Barzal. And a nifty little chip forward by Barzal allows him to escape the zone. Parise moves in, and that just about got through to Bobrovsky.
Oh, great back check there by Hornquist.
Barzal back to the point, Dobson. Left point now, Chara. Rink wide looking for Barzal. He'll try to poke it deep. As he tried to get it to Anders Lee. And instead the Panthers come back and Hornquist will feather it in. And all 5 will change for Florida.
Good look there. It was Chara over to Barzal. Barzal just mishandled that pass. That seems to be that was what they were looking like in the first period. Bobbled passes just a little bit off.
Under 12 to go in the third. Bennett across the line. Top of the right wing circle. His shot deflects up and out of play. Well, again, to remind you, plenty more hockey to come. Nationally televised games tomorrow night at 10 Eastern. Chicago at Seattle on TNT, and then Colorado-Seattle at 10 Eastern on Friday here on ESPN Plus. Saturday, the NHL Network will bring you Pittsburgh-Toronto at 7 Eastern, and then ESPN Plus an exclusive 8:30 on Tuesday night, Edmonton at Dallas. So the Connor McDavid show heads to the Lone Star State. He's had a decent start to the season. Would you say?
Yeah, I'd say decent.
I'm just teeing up the expert to dive into the start to the season for McDavid and Draisaitl.
Yeah, they're disappointed. Right. I think they would like more points than what they've got.
Great analysis, Bush.
That's why it's decent, because they think they could have more. Watching McDavid, it's like watching a mite hockey game sometimes, where you have the best player on the ice and he's able to skate through everybody.
Duclair with a steal. And the Panthers getting a little cute now as it ends up with Connaughton off the stick of Huberdeau. A wheel around wrist shot by Bennett is blocked in front. And now Brock Nelson has it in front of the Islander bench. Double teamed there. Now watching Connor McDavid, like you said, he does things at the National Hockey League level that you're not supposed to be able to do at the high school level.
Right, exactly. It's like he's playing against little kids sometimes, attacking guys 1-on-4 and making them all look foolish.
Uyghur between the circles sends one down deep and gets it back, looking for Reinhart. Reinhart beneath the goal line, bodied by Dobson. Dobson takes it away, and out of Pellick. Stretch pass, cross ice, Clutterbuck. Cal Clutterbuck wanted to go backdoor to Cizikas. That was knocked away by Mackenzie Uyghur. Ends up at the right point for Dobson. Winds it around for Matt Martin. He'll reverse it under the stick of Clutterbuck. And Anton Lundell will pitchfork it out to center, and it rolls all the way into the Islanders' end. Loose at the Panther line. Dug free by Verhaeghe. He's pinned up against the wall. As Cizikas was able to check him there. Now Chara, one touch. Palmieri across the line. He will go in deep, as will Martin. Now getting loose. Tippett moves in and fires one wide of Varlamov. As a loose puck found its way, a terrific scoring opportunity for Owen Tippett with Florida on top by 4. Of games on ESPN Plus. Coming up on Friday, we'll have Colorado at Seattle at 10 Eastern. And as we said, coming up on Tuesday at 8:30 Eastern, the Oilers and Stars, the exclusive broadcasts, NHL hockey here on ESPN Plus. And as we said, not a bad start to the season for Connor McDavid.
What we'd expect, right, from him. Just a fantastic talent. You'll see him on display on Tuesday night. You're not going to see anybody who skates faster than him with the puck. I mean, a lot of guys in the league can skate fast without the puck, but when they get the puck, they slow down, and he seems to get even faster. So,
well, and his brain operates at the same speed his legs do too, which is uncanny.
Barzal with a takeaway. Zach Parise tries to put some pressure on. Digging for it. There's Lee as well, and he's got it behind the net. Hit by Gudas. That allows Vetrano to move the puck, but Barzal is there. Owen Tippett, though, takes it away. Barzal keeps it alive. Terrific hustle play. One touch out in front. Lee was looking for a cutting Palmieri. And now it's Aho between the circles. Wrist shot stopped by Bobrovsky. Anders Lee looking for a rebound, and Bobrovsky does not give one up.
Good stuff here from Sebastian Aho. I mean, this is a guy who's trying to fight to stay in the lineup as well. Had the good chance in the second period here. Is able to elude Luostarinen up top right here. Look at this little move right there. Get to the inside of the ice. He's on his forehand. He's in a scoring area. Gets it to the net. It's good stuff right there from a guy who hasn't played a ton of hockey. And he's trying to impress to make sure that he can stay in the lineup. They need that type of defenseman on this Islander team. AJ had mentioned it earlier. It's something that I think that they're missing, and he's getting an opportunity to show what he can do.
AJ, he was in that weird gray area with COVID last season, if not playing in the minors, being on the taxi squad. But I guess Barry Trotz talked about it today for Aho. He basically went 2 years without being able to play in games.
Yeah, and Aho talked about it too. He said my timing was a little bit off in the game last night, but you know, Pulock out now with a lower body injury, unknown how long he's going to be out. Mayfield out now after tonight is the major that he got, so maybe a little pressure's off of him. He knows he's got a spot for at least a couple games. and he can go and play a little looser. What I liked about that play, Boosh, that you just showed is that he didn't get his shot blocked. He took that extra little stick handle and made sure it got through, and I think that's the panic sets in sometimes for these younger players. Just get the puck in, get it on net, and they get themselves burned that way. He's showing more poise tonight than I saw him show even last night.
Yeah, I thought last night there was a couple opportunities on the power play where he could shoot the puck and didn't, and was deferring. He seems to be more assertive here tonight. I mean, I know it's a 5-1 game, but for him, a little bit more assertive and showing that he can get to those areas and try and get pucks to the net. So good job by him.
And more ice time, too, with only 5D. So I think that helps. Sometimes you just don't think as much.
Well, even in a 5-1 game, this is a game that is played at 1,000 miles an hour. Let's take you inside the rush and bring you closer to ice level. Give you a way to experience the game.
Now you can hear the talk right there, huh? You hear the D-man talking to Bobrovsky over. Good command. There's a lot of talk on the ice that you don't really realize until you put it in this context.
Well, in the years I have not been able to broadcast hockey, I can't tell you how much I have missed it. And I would love to have folks at home boosting our ratings. Connaughton forces one on net, and that is stop side of the net. Covering it up in the blue paint is Varlamov. But of all of the sports that I've had a chance to call, and I've called all of them in person is the way to experience this sport and this league. I mean, as great a job as I think we will try to do, and the rush is a way to hopefully get you inside the game a bit, as now we've got some fisticuffs. As Radko Gudas and Matt Martin will dance if the linesman will allow them to.
And this stems back to the hit by Gudas on Brock Nelson early in the third period. You can bet that.
But I think you are going to become an even bigger fan of our broadcasts on television if you come to a game in person and see the speed that this sport is played at by the best players in the world. It's just the best.
No doubt about it. I mean, you come to a game, you see how fast it is, you see how gifted these hockey players are, how good of athletes they are. You know, you don't appreciate it on TV sometimes. Like you said, we're going to try to do it. As you see, Martin's trying to get Gudas to realize that he's upset, right? And we're trying to get people to realize how good the game is.
Good segue, Boosh. Look at that. That's why they pay you the big bucks.
That was professional with a capital P.
I think the linesman might have let them fight that one out if Gudas hadn't gone down on a knee. Became a little more dangerous and lopsided.
It looked like Matt Martin, maybe even going back to the Brock Nelson hit by Gudas, wanted in a 5-1 game to drop the gloves, and Gudas just didn't take the bait.
You guys are talking about the speed too, and I have to say I'm pretty lucky to be down here ice level. I get to see it firsthand. It is a fast game, it is a heavy game, and there have been phases tonight where it's been heavier than others. Sometimes there's been more speed, and other times there have been big hits. Game's had it all.
Forsling carries it across. He is hit hard by Pellet. Winds it around to Duclair. Gave it away. Keeper Bellows able to get it to Beauvillier on the right wing. Beauvillier controls it with his skates. Tried to sweep one out in front, looking for Pajot. And now Duclair content to feather it back out to the neutral zone with 5:15 to go.
Here's a guy, Pajot, has the puck for the Islanders. He's somebody. He's one of my favorite players to watch, just the way he plays. He's a little guy, but he plays so much bigger than that. He's so tough. He plays in all three zones. Huge pickup by Lou a couple seasons ago at the trade deadline from Ottawa, and he just embodies so much of what Barry Trotz the work ethic that he embodies.
Lomberg moves in on the backhand, roots it just wide. And he was looking for his second of the night and second of the season, as Ryan Lomberg had not scored before tonight. Barzal down the right wing, puts the brakes on along the half board. Back to the point, Dobson, that easily steered away by Bobrovsky. Hornquist gave a terrific pass to Lomberg to set him up a moment ago, and now he will feather one deep and go off for the chain. Andy Green. Back in behind the net, Mackenzie Weegar. Starainen across the line. He's one on the right wing, looking for a return in the slot, and that sails through. And now a chance for Brock Nelson back the other way. He'll risk one. Bobrovsky with a glove save, and he will hold on again.
Well, a good opportunity for the Islanders. Brock Nelson, the odd man rush, wins the battle. With Sergei Bobrovsky with the answer once again. Good solid save. Panthers still up by 4. It's Patrick Hornquist here with the, I don't want to say it's impossible angle because we see it more often nowadays, but a hard angle. Banks it off of Ilya Sorokin's mask, and that was the night for Ilya Sorokin, but that was the Jägermeister shot of the night by Patrick Hornquist.
Wahlstrom dumps one in, but it is offside Islanders at the Panther line. What is now to come for the Islanders? They get to go home for the first time. They have had a couple of gaps during this opening 13-game stretch where they've been able to go back home. Haven't been in hotels for over a month. They did have a game at the Devils and had a few 3 or 4 day breaks, but 4 home games starting Saturday night. That will take them up to Thanksgiving weekend. They get to sleep in their own beds and hear the roar of their own fans in their brand new building starting Saturday night.
And you think about it, sorry AJ, those get back to back, right when they get home. I mean, that's going to be a tough test for them.
They have 19 back-to-backs this season. This is one of them now. They're on the back end of it. But if this, barring anything.
Petrano with a steal moves in and scores. A little salt in the wound for the Islanders. 4th of the season for Frank Petrano.
Well, Vetrano, you can tell. I mean, he was hungry on this goal. I mean, you see the battle in the neutral zone here. Vetrano is able to corral this puck, and then quickly, we talk about Florida playing with speed, and you know, sometimes when there's a turnover, how quickly you can transition that to an offensive opportunity. Vetrano's able to do that quickly, and he's able to get in, and where he shoots his puck from too, it's in front of him, you know, and as a goaltender that can be difficult to pick up from a shooter. When the puck's off to the side, it almost allows the goaltender to get set. The puck was in front of Vetrano, makes it tough for Varlamov to kind of get set, and he's able to snap it home.
I think Aho also got his stick in there, which maybe created a little bit of deception for Varlamov, and now with that goal, every line for the Florida Panthers has a goal tonight. Some depth scoring.
They are a deep team. Frank Petrano is a player that more often than not would be a 3rd or a 4th line player. Scored 16 or more goals 3 years in a row. As now the puck rises up on Beauvillier and he goes down.
Yeah, puck looked like it caught him in the face, and he seems to be okay. You saw earlier in the game Anders Lee as well. Oh, I think he was able to turn his head at the last second.
Yeah, he just came right by me. He had no blood for him. Anders Lee came off with some blood, no stitches for him. You can see Beauvillier just took it right in the mouth, but not direct.
It almost looked like it went right under his chin and caught his shoulder. Although, you're right, he's inspecting all the chiclets to make sure they're still there.
And those seem to hurt a little bit more when you're down 6-1 in a game. You know, you don't mind taking a puck in the face or a stick in the face when it's a tight game, but when it's 6-1, you just want the clock to run out and hit the showers and move on.
One thing I was starting to say, sorry Bob, is before Vetrano's goal is that the Islanders will head home after this road trip 5-6-2. And that's actually the same record they had last year in their first 13 road games. All the road games are back-to-back this season, but that's the record they had last year in their road games. And thanks to Eric Hornick for that little nugget of information.
That is a glass half full approach right there.
There you go.
I'm sure the Islander fans appreciate that one, AJ. No, it's a good point, right? I mean, and like Bob said earlier, I mean, if you told them they were going to be in and around 500 to start the season on this road trip, I think they would have taken it. I think maybe the fact that the Metropolitan Division has showed that there's a lot of quality teams so far, maybe it's a little disheartening to see them down the list in the standings, but there's still a lot of hockey to play yet.
There is. And, you know, you look at some of the streaks these teams go by, and a lot of people have that theory. You get to Thanksgiving, and what do the standings look like? But you got to go back to 2019 and the St. Louis Blues being last place in January, right? I mean, that blows all of that out of the water. There's hockey to be played, play it.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. And like I said too, I mean, I'm not gonna give a real assessment of this Islander team until we start to see some home games as well. I mean, to have 13 road games to start the season, that's a tall ask for any club. So, you know, once they start to get some home games, if some of these warts that we're seeing defensively are still creeping in their game over that time, then there's some things you can talk about. If some of the guys that have been dry in the goal scoring department is still not scoring, then you can start to ask questions as to whether or not there will be some changes. But for now, I mean, I think you just chalk it up. It's a tough start. They're going home. And as AJ said, they were 5-6-2 last year. Glass half full type of mentality.
Well, a third of their road games will be in the rearview mirror after tonight, just about. And you think about all of the things you have to fight through during a season, where you play, as they are right now, the second halves of back-to-backs, where you play on the opposite coast now. Without COVID, obviously, you'll have Western Conference teams coming to play the Islanders at home. They will now, for the rest of the season, by and large, be the beneficiary of those problems. They're going to be the team at home when the West Coast teams are coming to them, or they'll be the team at home when you've got a team that's coming off the second half of a road back-to-back playing at UBS Arena, and water has a tendency to find its level.
You know, it's interesting. This morning we had a chance to talk to some of these players, and Brock Nelson, we were laughing that they don't, what's it going to be like on Saturday? They don't even know how to get there. He said he was asking, I'm going to need a map. I don't even know where the players' entrances, where we park, all that stuff. So there are going to be some growing pains even right off the bat for them in terms of making it their own.
But we also should not diminish just by saying, well, the Islanders are at the end of a long road trip, and not give the Panthers a ton of credit for the game that they have played tonight, because they have been outstanding.
A great response by them. Winless in 4. They were sloppy at times defensively. Their offense wasn't clicking. And I thought tonight they played with an energy. Obviously, they had 2 days off in between games, but they played with an energy tonight that we have not seen, you know, for a while. 6 goals the first time that they've done it this year for the Florida Panthers. So, you know, full marks to them. And obviously with Barkov's injury, that'll be something to keep an eye on. That's a big loss. Thought that line looked good in the first period. Unfortunate for the Panthers, but boy, what a solid effort by the Panthers tonight. You talked about the depth. Every line is scored. They're a deep team that has talent, but also plays with some bite.
And undefeated here at home, and they're starting a 4-game homestand tonight.
This will make them 8-0-0 at home so far this season. And stretching back to April of last year, they're unbeaten in their last 12 at home, as we've got a penalty with 15 seconds to go.
New York, number 3, minor penalty, cross-check.
Here you see Pelech with the cross-check right there on Anton Lundell. I think he just caught Lundell in the right spot, maybe in the arm or perhaps the ribs.
Lundell coming with a ton of speed, and Pelech was a little flat-footed there.
So Chara sends it down. The final 10 seconds of what will be a convincing win for the Florida Panthers. The division leaders, a 10-0-1 start, winless in their last 4, but they break that streak tonight and do it in style with a season-high 6-goal score.
And Bobrovsky remains unbeaten in regulation, and the Florida Panthers pick up their 900th regular season win in franchise history. Bobrovsky looks like a much different goalie this year than what we saw last year. A confident Bobrovsky, the same guy that we saw win a couple of Vezina trophies in Columbus. And that's a good sign for this Panthers team as well.
and 900 wins in Panthers history in the regular season. My first job out of college was right down here in South Florida for the All Sports radio station, WQAM. That was the inaugural season of Panthers hockey. So I remember John Van Beesbrook, as we welcome you to the Verizon postgame, narrating like a welcome to hockey, these are the rules video that they put in all of the Blockbuster stores down here way back when. So if you had no idea about hockey, you didn't know what offsides or icing was, you had a chance as the Rats end up on the ice after a Panthers win, as is traditional from their days at the old Miami Arena. And they dominate from start to finish and win it 6-1. And obviously I'm now realizing how old and bald I am. I think I had most of my hair and probably about 25 less pounds on board back when the Panthers first became a hockey club in 1993, and now they are well established. And Bush a threat to get all the way to the finals with the depth that they have, and we'll obviously keep our fingers crossed for Alexander Barkov as we take a look at tonight's 3 stars of the game, brought to you by New Amsterdam Vodka.
Yeah, Sergei
the netminder deserves it.
Yeah, I mean, the Islanders had a few chances that we talked about, a couple of hit posts. You know, the chance for Aho on the jam play, but Bobrovsky I thought was solid all night through. And you know, considering the attack was balanced for the Florida Panthers, maybe one guy doesn't really stand out. You gotta give some love to your goaltender.
A goal for Verhaeghe. He is the second star.
Yeah, and he's a guy that, you know, he plays with energy, with speed. Obviously was taken off that top line in favor of Jonathan Huberdeau, yet he still was able to contribute on that second line. And Patrick Hornquist, who we talked about in the open, I mentioned that he's a guy that drags his teammates into the fight, plays with energy. He carried some of that energy that he had in that Tampa game, and obviously we saw the goal that he scored from a real hard angle. I thought he had a real solid game again here tonight for the Panthers.
Well, it took about 7 minutes for the Panthers to get it started. It was Huberdeau from Barkov and Duclair to get them on the board first, and this just got them started.
Yeah, and we talk about Florida playing fast, right? And Montour made a terrific play to get that puck up ice, and then after that, it was all Florida after that. Lomberg was able to jump in there and score his first of the season. Here, Verhaeghe stays with this one to make it 3-0. Then late in the first period, Hornquist with this shot that he banks off of Sorokin. As we mentioned, that was the night for Ilya Sorokin. And then they use the width of the ice here. Ekblad able to get his 5th of the season on the feed by Uyghur. Blows it past Semyon Varlamov. And then in the third period, Frank Vetrano is able to capitalize on this one to make it 6-1. So a heck of an offensive output tonight for the Florida Panthers. They thought they were good defensively, but I thought they also were able to, you know, contribute offensively as well, which is a good sign.
Well, AJ is down ringside with the first goal scorer of the night.
I got Jonathan Huberdeau here, and you know, you look at this, you guys have gone through, you started strong, 7-game winning streak, you got a coaching change, you're now coming off a 4-game losing streak on the road. How does battling back through these bouts of adversity help your team's confidence?
Yeah, it was important, especially, you know, going back home. We needed a good start, and that's what we did tonight. You know, score 4 goals in the first period. That's what we needed. Play well defensively. Bob was outstanding tonight, and now we're going to be home for a bit, so we got to take advantage of that.
And you've got your captain Alexander Barkov out with lower body injury, unknown right now what's going on. You guys had 6 different goal scorers. You guys have a tremendous amount of depth. How do you battle back though, losing one of your big-time leaders?
Yeah, obviously it's you know, it's never easy to lose Barkey. I mean, big part of our team, and obviously everybody's going to have to step up. We'll have a lot of depth in our lineup, so I think, you know, every guy's going to give a little bit more, and we should be fine.
So now you're starting, tonight was the first of a 4-game homestand. You're undefeated here in this building. You guys are at the top of the standings, but how do you create a little bit of momentum here with this homestand?
Yeah, it's important. I think our starts, that's what we want to focus on. Obviously game by game, and you know, like I said, I think we just give a little bit more and play well defensively. That's what we need, and got great fans, so we've got to play for them.
Thanks so much for your time, Jonathan.
Thank you.
All right, AJ. Well, it was an insurmountable lead that was built by the Panthers in the opening period, and they win it going away 6-1. The postgame continues as we head back to the studio. Standing by is Bucci.